Hello everybody, welcome to the first of many SkyDriver tutorials for Microsoft Flight Simulator. The purpose of my tutorials, from most of the tutorials that I've seen on YouTube already, they're a bit lengthy. They cover a lot of information you don't need, and I wanted to mainly focus on giving people quick start tutorials, how to do things quickly, to go ahead and get you up and flying and using the software, using the mods, using the websites, whatever I plan to do tutorials for. In today's tutorial, as you can see by the screen, we are going to learn how to create and file your flight plan using Simbrief. If you don't have a Simbrief account already, go ahead and pause the video, make an account, and pick it back up when you're ready. But the first thing we're going to do is go to Dispatch, which is the middle option right here. Drop down to Dispatch System. Go ahead and click that. Click New Flight. Now this is going to bring up your dispatch options for creating your flight plan. I know this is a lot of options, kind of overwhelms some people. Don't let it, because you don't really need to fill in that much information. Your airline, if you're simulating flying for an airline, which I'm always flying for Delta, abbreviation is DAL. My flight number with the virtual airline that I fly with is always 778. Now let's say today's flight we're flying out of Atlanta. So that's going to be KATL. This drop-down menu won't be here for you. This is just all the ones that I've used. You'll type in KATL if it's your first time. Your arrival, let's say we're flying to Miami. So KMIA. Click anywhere on the screen, and it's going to populate and calculate. What that did is it determined what your alternate airport is going to be. So in this case, it's going to be KMCO, which is Orlando International. And it's going to populate your date and your departure time in Zulu time, which typically is, I think it's automatic when you set up your account, if you let the system know which time zone you're in. So right now it is 21:40 Zulu time. And the reason it calculates it as 22:10 is because it's giving you 30 minutes from the time you're making this flight plan before you need to take off. Which, once you get the hang of things, you'll be ready to go way before then. The next thing you need after your flight information is just your aircraft type. So you're going to click the drop-down menu, and let's say we're flying the in-game version of the A320, which is the A320-251N for the Neo. Click it. That automatically calculates your climb profile, your descent profile, all this information right here, except your fuel factor. And this is optional. This is up to you. If you are an inexperienced pilot, you don't really know your plane very well, you're not good with your throttles, you're probably going to want to bring some extra fuel on board, more than it would calculate needed for the flight. This drop-down menu, P stands for plus, M stands for minus. So I know people that, and myself, I can fly the Airbus fairly well, so I can actually bring in less fuel than necessary and still make the flight. But you may want to go up to P05 up to P10, which is a percentage. So let's say it's not accurate, but if you're bringing like 1,000 liters of fuel on board, P05 would give you 1,050 liters. It would add an extra 5%. P10 would give you 10% extra fuel. The other information you need is right here, selections, OFP layout. This is the layout form that your flight plan manifest is going to be in. I typically use EZY, even though I fly for Delta, because from checking most of the other flight plans, the other layouts, EZY has all the information you need to put in your MCDU when you're calculating and setting it up. On the first page, you don't have to scroll anywhere. And units I keep on kilograms. Reserve fuel, I usually keep it around 45. That's the safe bet. Usually your alternate airport won't be more than 45 minutes away by the time you're diverted. So just keep it around 45. And that is all you need. just by filling this information up here, where you're starting at, where you're going to, Simbrief already calculated your flight plan. So, and the way to read this is your optional entries. These are already filled out also automatically. We are departing Atlanta from runway 27 right. Oh, don't change that. And we will be arriving on runway 12 in Miami. So what this means is taking off from runway 27 right, our SID, our standard instrument departure, is going to be this first waypoint right here, Bangs 2. This is our SID. We'll be on a Bangs 2 SID with a luck transition. The waypoint right after the SID is always going to be your transition onto the main flight path. And then the end of your flight plan right here, it's the same but backwards. Frogs 1 is going to be your star when you're coming into Miami, and you'll be reaching Frogs from a Dan's transition. This little information right here that's already written down for you really helps you out when you're calling in ATC if you're flying all VATSIM. That's going to be my next tutorial, is how to call in for your IRF clearance from clearance delivery. I know a lot of people get, well, we'll worry about that in the next video. And that is it for this screen. Right here, this is just optional. It's going to give you this first one here, but these are optional routes. If you wanted a different route, you can just click it and it'll just bring that one in. But usually the first one is pretty much the standard. So we'll go ahead and go back up next to the top and click Generate Flight. Click Yes. That just means if you had a flight in there already, it's going to erase it to make room for this new one. There we go. Here's your OFP summary. Your Delta Airlines, Flight 778, which is your A320neo. Your origin is Atlanta, destination Miami, alternate Orlando, cruise altitude is 370, today's date, our departure time, air time is how long you're going to be in the air, 1 hour 30-minute flight, block fuel 6.4, and that's the way to read this. If you're putting that in your MCDU, you don't type in this whole number. 6, the whole number would represent thousands, point, and then the hundreds, and you just round it, so 6.4. Your zero fuel weight, your tow, your routing, no remarks. You absolutely don't need to change or do anything with this information. Go ahead, scroll down past your map. Here is your manifest. And this is the information you're going to need to put in your MCDU if you did the EZY format. So the things you're going to need, your trip win, which is right here. T stands for tail, H stands for head. So when you're typing it in, you just put T7, or if it was a head 12 wind, you just put H12 in your trip wind section. And here's your route plan, route information, and your block fuel, 6.4. Under your total. So you can just leave that right here. You have, when you're, especially if you're using 2 screens like I do, you can just look back and forth and put all the information in. The other information you're going to need is in the very next section, which is under your weather NOTAMs. So our arrival, you're going to need this information for your MCDU. You just click it for Miami. And here is your metro data. So it's going to give you your altimeter, which currently in Miami is 3004. Temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. The wind is out of 100 at 7 knots. So the first 3 here is the direction of the wind. Next to is the actual speed of the wind. Sometimes it'll say like 10007, and you'll see a slash, and then like 15 G or something like that. That means gusts. You don't worry about that for the MCDU. So you just use the first whole number. And then if you do need to know, for taking off, here's your altimeter for Atlanta, 3010. And if you're flying on VATSIM, scroll all the way down to the bottom. Once you have all that, you've created your flight plan, you got it all. You go down to VATSIM. If you're flying on VATSIM, you just click pre-file. If you're flying on any of the other ones, you just click pre-file for that. Let's say we're doing VATSIM. Click pre-file. It's going to automatically pop up your VATSIM profile. You might need to log into it for the first time, just so it's associated. And just check your information here real quick. I've never had any problems, but I always like to check it, make sure nothing changes, or route details, everything. And when you're ready, you'll click File Flight Plan, and you'll get this little green pop-up here. Flight plan filed, enjoy your flight. So the next thing you would do, you start up your vPilot, and you would retrieve your flight plan, which is already pre-filed. That's what you just did here, and it will bring it up for you. Hope that information was helpful, quick. Try to keep it as fast as possible. So we're running on about 11 minutes now, but that is all the information you need to know on how to set up Simbrief flight plans. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get set on video number 2, which is going to be how to call in your IFR clearance from clearance delivery on VATSIM, the easy way. All right, I'll take it easy.